We will start today's video with question 9. Now, in the question 9, the average amounts of the time that 60 adults exercise daily are recorded. The cumulative frequency curve below shows the amount of time x minutes and the number of adults who exercise at most x minutes daily. So, in the part 1, use the curve to estimate the number of adults who exercise more than 80 minutes daily. Since we are not able to find out directly the number of adults who exercise more than 38 minutes daily, so first we have to find out the number of students who exercise at most. Now, first we have to find out the number of students who exercise at most 38 minutes daily. First, we have to understand the scale along x-axis. So here we will subtract 0 from 10 and divide it by number of squares between 0 and 10. So 10 over 5 is 2. So each square unit along the x-axis is equals to 2. Now scale along y-axis. Since we have to subtract 0 from 10 and divided it by total number of squares between 0 and 10, that is 5. So 5 divided by divides 10 gives us 2. So the each square unit along the y-axis is equals to 2. Now from the graph, here we have 30, 30 at 2 is 32, here we have 34, 36 and 38. Now we draw a vertical line from the horizontal axis and extend it until it intersects the curve. Now from the point of intersection on the curve, we will draw a horizontal line until it touches the vertical axis. So here we have the reading of 20. So the number of students who exercise at most 38 minutes daily is equals to 20. Now to find out the number of students who exercise more than 38 minutes daily, we have to subtract the number of students who exercise at most 38 minutes daily from the total number of students. And so here we have 60 minus 20 and it will be equals to 40. So the number of students who exercise more than 38 minutes daily is equals to 40. Now in the part 1b, we have to find out the percentage of the adults who exercise at most 35 minutes daily. But first we have to find out the number of So first we have to find out the number of students who exercise at most 35 minutes daily. So from the curve, first we have to see where's the 35 lies. So we have 30, 32, 34, and 36, and somewhere between here we have 35. Now we will draw a vertical line from the horizontal axis and draw it until it intersects the curve. Now from the point of intersection from the curve we will draw a horizontal line until it touches the vertical axis. So we have 10, 12, 16, and here we have 12, 14, and 16. So here we have the reading of 16. So the number of students who exercise at most 15 minutes daily is equals to 16. The part 1b, to find out the percentage of adults who exercise at most 35 minutes daily is equal to the since we have find out from the curve the number of students who exercise at most 35 minutes daily, and that was 16, and the total number of students is 60, so it is divided by 60 multiplied by 100%. This 0 cancel out with 0, and here we have 2 8 is 16 and through 3 is 16, and after multiplication we have got 80 over 3%. And now we will divide 80 with 3. So here we have 3 2s are 6. 3 6 are 18. Again we have 3 6 are 18. So it will goes on continue. So we will equate it to approximately 26.7%. The percentage of adults who exercise at most 35 minutes daily is equals to 26.7%. Now in the part 1c, estimate the value of t if 1 over 3 of adults exercise more than t minutes daily. So 1 over 3 of adults is equals to 1 over 3 multiplied by total number of adults is 60. So here we have 3 2s are 6. It's equals to 20. So 20 adults exercise more than t minutes. But we have to find out the number of adults that exercise at most t minutes. So for this, number of adults who exercise at most t minutes daily is equals to total number of adults, which is 60, minus number of adults who exercise more than t minutes daily, That was, we have find out as 20. So 60 minus 20 is equals to 40. So the number of adults who exercise at most 10 minutes daily is equals to 40. Since we have find out the number of adults, that is 40, so from the vertical axis we will draw a horizontal line until it intersects the curve. Now from the point of intersection on the curve we will draw a vertical line until it touches the horizontal axis. So here we have the reading 40, 42, 44, 46, and up to some things like 47. So the value of t is equals to 47 from the curve. Part 2. A newspaper article claims that 1 in 3 adults exercise at most 20 minutes daily. Comment on whether the above data supports this claim. So from the curve, the number of adults who exercise at most 20 minutes daily is equals to the number of adults who exercise 20 minutes daily from the curve. So from the horizontal axis we will draw a vertical line until it intersects the curve. Now from the point of intersection on the curve we will draw a horizontal line until it touches the y-axis or vertical axis. So here we have 0, 2 and 4. So we have the reading of 4. So the number of adults who exercise at most 20 minutes daily is equals to 4. Now we have to find out the fraction of adults who exercise at most 20 minutes daily. So the fraction of adults who exercise twenty minutes daily is equals to number of adults who exercise at most 20 minutes daily. Number of adults who exercise at most 20 minutes daily was 4. So the fraction will become 4 over 60, and after simplification we will get 1 over 15. So the fraction of adults who exercise at most 20 minutes daily is equals to 1 over 15. Therefore, the data does not support the claim. that 1 in 3 adults exercises at most 20 minutes daily. Because we have got 1 in 15 adults who exercise at most 20 minutes daily. So our claim is does not support. Now in the part 3, if two adults are selected at random from the 60 adults, find the probability that both adults exercise at most 66 minutes daily. So first we have to find out from the curve the number of students, the number of adults who exercise at most 66 minutes daily. So from the x-axis, here we have 60, 62, 64 and 66. Here we have 66 and now we will draw a vertical line until it intersects the curve. Now from the point of intersection on the curve, we will draw a horizontal line until it touches the vertical axis. So here we have the reading of approximately 59. So the number of adults who exercise at most 66 minutes daily is equals to 59 from the curve. Now we have to find out the probability that both adults exercise at most 66 minutes daily. Now we have the favorable outcomes in our case is 59 and total number of outcomes is 60 multiplied by, since we have to select two adults at random, so we have already selected one adult, so the total number of adults remaining will be 59 and the number of adults who exercise at most 66 minutes daily will become 58 since we have already selected one adult. So this 59 cancel out with 59 and we will get 58 over 60, and with the table of 2 we will make further simplification. So here we have 2 4s are 8 and 2 9s are 18, and here we have 2 3s are 6 and 0. So here we have 29 over 30. So the probability that both adults exercise at most 66 minutes daily is equals to 29 over 30. The part 4. Copy and complete the following cumulative frequency table for the data given in the cumulative frequency curve. So along the x-axis we have time in x minutes. So here we have the values of x less than equals to 0, x less than equals to 10, x less than equals to 20. Here we have 30. So x less than equals to 30, x less than equals to 40, x less than equals to 50, and x less than equals to 60. Now from the cumulative frequency curve, we can easily find the cumulative frequencies that are not given in the table, or those are missing in the table. So for 0, the number of adults from the cumulative frequency curve is 0. For 10, find out the cumulative frequency corresponding to x less than equals to 10, we will draw a vertical line from the horizontal axis and draw it until it intersects the curve. Now from the point of intersection on the curve, we will draw a horizontal line until it cuts the y-axis. So here we have the value 1. So the value for the cumulative frequency for the time x less than equals to 10 is 1. And now for 20, we will draw a vertical line until it cuts the horizontal, until it intersects the curve. Now from the point of intersection on the curve, we will draw a horizontal line until it cuts the vertical axis. So here we have cumulative frequency table from the graph is 4. Now for x less than equals to 30, we will again draw a vertical line until it intersects the curve. Now from the point of intersection of the curve, we will draw a horizontal line until it touches the y-axis. So here we have a reading of 11. So the number of adults for time x less than equals to 30 is 11. And now for 40, we will draw another vertical line until it cuts the curve on the x, intersects the curve. Now from the point of intersection on the curve, we will draw a horizontal line until it cuts the vertical axis. So here we have 22. The frequency for x less than equals to 40 is equals to 22. Now here we have the reading of 23. So the number of adults for the time x less than equals to 40 is equals to 23. Now for the time x less than equals time x minutes, x less than equals to 50 minutes, we will draw a vertical line until it intersects the curve. Now from the point of intersection on the curve, we will draw a horizontal line until it touches the vertical axis. So here we have 42, 44, 46. So number of adults for x less than equals to 50 is 46. Now for 60, we will draw a vertical line from the horizontal axis until it intersects the curve. Now from the point of intersection on the curve, we will draw a horizontal line until it cuts the vertical axis. So here we have the reading 56. So the cumulative frequency for x less than equals to 60 is 56. So this is the complete frequency table. This is how we can easily complete the cumulative frequency table from the given cumulative frequency curve. Now in the part 5, copy and complete the grouped frequency table for the data given in the cumulative frequency table. So first we will identify the class interval from the cumulative frequency tables, but class intervals already given in the question. So now for each class interval, subtract the cumulative frequency of the previous interval from the current interval, and that gives us the frequency for the specific class interval. So now the first entry in the frequency column will always be equal to the first cumulative frequency value. So the value of the frequency for the class interval 0 to 10 is equals to 1. Find out the frequency for the class interval 10 to 20. Subtract the cumulative frequency of the previous class interval 0 to 10 from the cumulative frequency of the class interval 10 to 20. So we will subtract 1 from the 4 and we will get the frequency of 3. Now to find the frequency for the class interval 20 to 30, subtract the cumulative frequency of the previous class interval 10 to 20 from the cumulative frequency of the class interval 20 to 30. So 11 minus 4 will gives us the frequency of 7. To find the frequency for the class interval 30 to 40, subtract the cumulative frequency of the previous class interval 20 to 30 from the cumulative frequency of the class interval 30 to 40. So subtract 11 from 23 and we will get the frequency of 12. Now to find the frequency for the class interval 40 to 50, subtract the cumulative frequency of the previous class interval 30 to 40 from the class interval 40 to 50. So 46 minus 23 will gives us the cumulative frequency of 20, gives us the frequency of 23. To find out the frequency for the class interval 50 to 60, subtract the cumulative frequency of the previous class interval 40 to 50 from the cumulative frequency of the class interval 50 to 60. So 56 minus 46 will give us the frequency of 10. Similarly, for the class interval 60 to 70, to find out the frequency, we have to subtract the cumulative frequency of the previous class interval 50 to 60 from the cumulative frequency of the class interval 60 to 70. So 60 minus 56 will give us the frequency of 4. Now for the last class interval 70 to 80, the frequency is 0. So this is the complete frequency table. Now in the part 5b, using the table, find an estimate of the mean amount of the time that adult exercise daily. So for the part 5b, first we will total the frequencies. So the total frequency is 60. Now to find out the estimated mean, we have to find out the mid values of each class interval. So for the first class interval, we have 0 plus 10 divided by 2 and it will be equals to 5. For the second class interval, we have 10 plus 20 divided by 2 and it will be equals to 30 over 2 and it will be further equals to 15. For the third class interval, we have 20 plus 30 divided by 2 and it will be equals to 50 over 2 and it will further simplified to 25. For the fourth class interval, we have 30 plus 40 divided by 2, and it will be equals to 70 over 2, and it will be further simplified to 35. Now for the fifth class interval, we have 40 plus 50 divided by 2 equals to 90 over 2, and it will be further simplified to 45. Now for the sixth class interval, we have 50 plus 60 divided by 2, and it will be equals to 110 divided by 2, and it will be further simplified to 55. Now for the second last interval, we have 60 plus 70 divided by 2. It will be equals to 130 over 2, and it will be equals to 65. Now for the last class interval, the mid value can be find out by 70 plus 80 divided by 2 equals to 150 divided by 2, and it will be equals to 75. So these are the mid values. These mid values of the class interval will be used to estimate the mean amount of time. We will mark these midpoints as x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6, x7, and x8. And here we will use the formula for the estimated mean, and that is equals to summation fx divided by summation of f. So it means the sum of the frequency multiplied with mid values divided by the sum of the frequencies. So now we will expand this formula. So here we will take the mid values and the frequencies from the above table. So the first mid value is 5 multiplied by the first frequency value in the frequency column is 1, plus the second mid value is 15, and the second value of the frequency column is 3, plus the third mid value is 25 multiplied by the third value of the frequency column, and that is 7, plus fourth mid value is 35 multiplied by the fourth value of the frequency column, and that is 12, plus fifth value mid value is 45 multiplied with the fifth value of the frequency column, and that is 23, plus the sixth mid value is 55 multiplied with the sixth value of the frequency column, and that is 10, plus 7 mid value is 765 multiplied with the seventh value of the frequency column, that is 4, plus last mid value is 75 multiplied with the last value of the frequency column, and that is 0, and divided by the total number of frequencies, and that is 60. Now after further simplifications, we get 2490 divided by 60. And now we will divide 2,490 with 60. So here we have 6 fours are 240, and it will be equals to 90. And now here we will put 61 the 60, and it will be equals to 30. Now here we will put point here and here, so it will become 300. So 60.5 gives us 300, so it will be equals to 41.5 minutes. So the mean amount of time, or the estimated mean, is equals to 41.5 minutes. Now in the part 5c, explain why the mean is an estimate. The mean is an estimate because we do not know the exact time each adult spends exercising. So we take the mid value of the each range or each class interval as the representative x value for the particular range or class interval. Here we meant by range is the class interval.